Welcome to the first Nothing But Knives podcast. Because the internet needed another knife podcast like it needed a hole in its head, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it a little different. We're going to cut the footage of us using knives out in the wilds whenever it matters, whenever it works. But mostly we're going to talk about knife news, whatever we're reporting on our website in the news section. We're going to talk about articles, knives that we just reviewed in article format, because a few people do still read. And then we're going to be talking about these knives here on YouTube. And wherever else we decide to upload this podcast. We'll have guests on here in the future. We're also going to have NC EDC will be on here a lot of times with us and a few other YouTube podcast guys. But anyway, without further ado, we will jump into the current knife news. What are we talking about first?
First up, I got beer on the table. First up is, oh yeah, we did talk about this first. Civivi's being sold at Walmart now, which, could, I don't know. I mean, for knife enthusiasts, might be a bad thing in the long run. We'll see if they kind of...
It's good for Civivi. They're going to make a lot of money.
It's great for them, but it kind of brings up the question, if they're going to start doing things like Buck and Gerber, where they just start making things for the lowest common denominator, because they don't need good steels anymore.
Are they going to go to 420 HC and just stay there like Buck and Gerber?
Right.
With exception of some limited editions, small runs.
It would be funny if Civivi started making knives in an American steel for the budget lines. And like, where do they go? Like, they're already manufactured in China.
Right. Yeah, they're not gonna. But the manufacturing is done really well. Hopefully that doesn't change. I'm sure they don't have any intention of lowering quality or anything. The thing is, a lot of the Walmart shoppers are gonna buy it regardless, just because it looks cool. My biggest concern would be if they quit using, the big name designers, because that does cost money. You have to pay them a percentage. But I really enjoy checking out designs from some of my favorite designers, and I'd hate to see Civivi go away from that. And I'm sure if they saw this, they'd be like, no, we would never do that. But, eventually the dollar is what makes the decision. So we'll see.
Their in-house designers are pretty legit.
Yeah, that is true.
The last Civivi we reviewed shows, but we'll get into that next. The other news, Ocaso Solstice is now available in, what do they call it? Entropic anodization, which is being done by way of knife. Which we're also the people...
Here's the original Solstice, not K.
Yeah, we're not cool enough to get the anodized version.
But, it just came out too. But it is cool looking. I don't know if it's like exactly my favorite thing. I really like their Damascus, the Italian-made Damascus, but it's cool to see them. One cool thing about Ocaso is they just never quit updating and making changes. And, they're connected to the whole world because they were cold steel execs before, so they know everyone. And they're always signing new designers. They're always updating stuff. They're always adding better materials. And they've been a really fun company to watch. We have a review on the site we'll link to below of the original Solstice here, as well as a few of their other knives. How am I bleeding? How did you know that was all fast? Jeez.
How weird. You pour a beer and play with a knife.
It's dangerous.
Now our podcast is rated R.
Yeah.
Next up, we don't have anything to show from them, but White River Knives released their model on with the Skinner blade, which, is cool enough. They didn't change anything else about the model. They're just giving another...
This is the Model 1 option.
Model 1, yeah. I think
it's got to be one of the most popular. It's certainly one of the most iconic.
Yeah, and they're one of their first, I think, I assume, from Model 1.
And that's S35V, like the original. I think that's pretty much what they use.
It's the same thing they use in all the other model art steels. For some reason, I didn't write down what steel it is here. But anyway, we had a news article of that with all of that information in there. Most of it is accurate most of the time.
And then off-grid.
Awesome. Yeah, we can pass the event. Off-grid released the Black Mamba V3, which is quite a bit bigger, and it's going to be their first knife with a Maxsa cut.
Oh yeah, 4-inch blade on that one.
4-inch blade, yeah. He went up another inch. This is the V1 version, which we reviewed forever ago, it feels like.
Well, then we added the V2 to that review, so
Yeah.
that link will be below if you want to check that out.
That one was like just under 3 inches within 390. Here's the V2, which is up another.
Sure.
Okay, tying.
Was that always steel? Is that 390?
No, these both have bullet in 390. The other thing that's a little bit different that I don't think Kerry mentioned in his video, but
Kerry's the owner and designer of Off-Grid.
is both of the previous versions had this pocket clip. See if I can get that to show up, where you kind of see it has that dip in the middle, and it kind of looks like he changed it up for the larger version. It looks like it has a wider base, which is really boring to talk about, but it's interesting to me, as someone who gets his pockets torn up all the time. I think that was all the stuff for the news, unless you wanted to mention the Portland event that's happening.
Might as well. It's cool that they're doing it. You know, there's not much knife stuff happening on the West Coast. It's pretty sad out here for knife events. We have to go back east. Like to see a lot more happen out here. So it's nice to, I mean, I wish it was closer to where we're at.
And drive to Utah to go.
Right, yeah. Blade Show West is in Utah, which is not, I mean, it's west of the Rockies, I guess, but it's not the coast. We've got a lot of manufacturers out here on the West Coast, but we do not have very many events out here. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so it makes sense that they would do this in Portland. And it sounds like they're doing it to kind of draw attention to Portland's like cutlery history.
It's CRKT.
Yeah.
Who else is involved? CRKT Benchmade.
CRKT, Benchmade, Gerber. There's that list.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's multi-plier company.
Leatherman and Steelport Knife Company, which doesn't get as much attention because I think they mostly do like kitchen knives. But they're cool. They do need.
We talk about kitchen knives here.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about their kitchen knives because they're expensive.
They don't need us. They don't need us.
They don't need us. They're not going to send us anything. But that's happening August 24th, 25th.
Cool.
As of August.
It'd be fun to go to, but I'm not driving that far.
And I don't want to drive to Portland. I mean, all due respect, but that's my least favorite town to drive through. August 24th is the actual date.
But anyway, next part is we're going to jump into what we've been reviewing lately, what we've got coming up. Our most recent reviews on the website. Let's see, we just finished the Schwarz Lost Trail 5, which may be the best camp knife we have ever tested. Let's see where it goes here. Here, yeah, there it is. I mean, we'll cut to on the footage for that.
Oh, just in case the out.
We've used and abused this for weeks.
Yeah, you
Cleans up pretty nice.
the stuff we.
Well, we were batoning oak, we were batoning hardwood. It's a thinner blade, but man, that thing is hell on wheels out in the campsite. It really, like, it's been a long time since we've reviewed a knife that kind of blew us away like this thing did. It's a pretty incredible beast. Have you kind of talked about the heat treatment part of it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can get into that. So it's A2 steel, which I haven't used a whole lot. I know it's popular with like custom makers and stuff, but the cool thing about it is just how much experimentation he did with it. And he talked about this.
And he is TJ Schwarz, the owner and designer.
I just assume hear Fort.
I think he's well known for the CRKT Overland, and he's got the Schwarz knives Overland as well. That's kind of his. I think that's what put him on the map. He's designed several other great knives, mostly for CRKT.
He made that EDC version of the Overland. I can't remember the name of, but seems to be really popular. Right, the heat treat. So I think the recommended like upper end of heat treating for A2 is like 65 HRC, like 66 around there. So he had someone heat treat a bunch of prototypes of this knife from like 66 down to 58, and they basically just took them out and they tested the hell out of them until they found sort of the hardness that they wanted. And then they kind of rolled with that. And I think he ended up with 62,
which is really, I mean, that's
high.
really high for an outdoor bushcrafty type knife. Like, and we fully expected to chip this. I was getting really uncomfortable because we were batoning like bigger and bigger pieces, and started batoning oak, and I was like, okay, we're gonna chip my new favorite knife, but it did not chip. It just, even at that heat, it holds an edge for tool steel. It's holding an edge really well.
Sure.
Yeah, this is gonna be, and it's $200, American made, $200. Like this has been the knife of the year for us so far. This and probably the Reef F6, the new F6 with Magna Cut that just came out, which we'll talk about next week.
The sound of that.
Yeah, the sheath is, well, the adjustable, being able to, some people are crazy and weird, and I don't get it. They like to carry knives up on their hip where it's digging into them. I like to carry them low where it's comfortable, and, they're slapping the side of my thigh like they're supposed to. So the good news is TJ's got you covered. This thing's adjustable. You can move it up and down. I mean, he's an engineer's engineer. He really...
usually it comes riding there. You can raise it just a bit up to there. Get it, I don't know, that's maybe half an inch lower. But this is standard spacing too, so like tech-lock compatible. You just want to put some of that heavy on. But you
can tech lock it and horizontal carry it, no problem.
You will have.
Well, and a little big. But we got little bitch hips. I mean, bigger dudes that aren't hop-looking dudes could probably carry that thing. Horizontal carry, just
not to brag, but I've had many women tell me that they're jealous of my hips.
Yeah. Hey, this is not what you want to hear as a dude.
But depends on the context. But what else was I going to say? Right, yeah. So 62 HRC, which I thought we would destroy, but we've
chipped a lot of knives.
I batoned through Volk, which we don't normally do with knives because that just ruins them. And this thing just absolutely destroyed an oak block like it was nothing.
And the handle's Richlight, which we haven't.
Yeah,
we don't have a lot of knives.
We might have a Richlight handle in there somewhere, but this stuff is cool because it kind of has a rubbery feel to it. It's a bit like rubber that won't kind of rip too hard or dry out. It's basically like a taper resin material. I think it's taper. So it has a nice pseudo preppy texture to it. So
I'm gonna drive my car to Zealot, but this has got me rethinking.
I'm all about this. Things up pretty easy. I haven't really noticed any staining. I don't know if there's ages the way in the card.
Anyway, we'll link to that review, below in the description. And then,
I found enough.
And then the Civivi
Cloud Peak.
Civivi Cloud Peak. Civivi just is we're selling in Walmart to compete with Buck, and then they middle fingered Buck, the Vanguard, with this design. It's similar, but with a steel that's not 420 HC. And what is it?
It's Nitro
V.
Full tank with G10 scale.
It's just got it back here. Don't like that. No, bring that in here. I think it's a good camping knife, good hunting knife steel. It's tough enough. Holds an edge, better than the 420 HC that Buck uses. Yeah. Anyway, we spent a couple of weeks running around in the hills with that thing and beating it up. It's not a bushcraft knife, so we didn't go crazy. But I hope to see more classic designs like this from Civivi. This is pretty cool, and I know it's doing well. From I was just emailing back and forth. It sounds like it's doing really well. We were excited about it. Obviously, other people are excited about it. Not a perfect knife, but not a bad knife either. I would like to see the price be just a little cheaper. But
I think for the fit and finish here, it's pretty solid.
Fit and finish was really good.
Nitro values of really good steel. Anyone who doesn't know, that's basically a sort of modification of AVL, I think, by Victor Steel Baron. Really nice stuff. Like takes a pretty cool, solid, polished edge.
And there is the polish and the polishing on the handle, like they're really you can't feel the tang at all on this. Like it feels really nice. They did a great job on the QA.
I almost wonder because the first thought, of course, was about the Vanguard, and now that I think about it, I wonder if it's less a shot at Buck and more than trying to keep up with Kaiser, who's been
Kaiser, yes.
killing it with fixed blade.
We're working on a fixed blade article for Kaiser right now. I'll just fixed blade guide because we really like their knives.
Going back, I mean, way back to the beginning with the little river that's discontinued now, like that was a solid knife.
Yeah. We're gonna campaign for them to bring that back. Let's start nagging Kaiser about bringing the Little River back. That was a great bow, and it was ahead of its time. Like now, Bowie knives are all the rage, and that everyone's doing a Bowie this and Bowie that.
EDC size too. If they brought it back a little bit smaller with like an OP clip,
it was horizontal carry back before that was cool. Like, come on, Kaiser. Let's bring back the Little River.
It just needs a grippier handle. That thing.
Yeah. Micarta hand is just some dry ass Micarta.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough. It's pestering. So we
also recently reviewed the CRKT Soldotna, which is a new American-made knife from CRKT. Fixed blade knife made in the Tops factory. I mean, it's their newest American fixed blade. Yeah, I think was this their Blade Show announcement? I think it was the Blade Show announcement.
It might have been Blade Show. We wouldn't know if we didn't go.
We didn't get to go this year. We were moving our office to a new location. Anyway, this was a lot of fun to run around with. It's been really fun to see CRKT, grab really cool American designers. Speaking of which, look at the designs from
Russ Commerce.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
Who never seems to design the same kind of knife twice. If you look at his portfolio, he's all over the place. He's the kind of guy who just likes to screw around with different lines.
Yeah, he'd be fun to talk to.
I would love to.
Kind of like to
time of day.
Little peek behind the curtain on what goes on in his head. Because he is all over the board. It's fun. But it's been fun to watch CRKT as they are just going pedal to the metal with this American-made they're having Hogue make them, they're having Tops knives make them, and they've been really cool knives. They've been fun designs. They've been a lot of fun to run around in the woods testing them out.
Yeah, this is the thing I really like about this mostly is just how tight you can get that grip that like hugs around your index finger so well. You just have that kind of solid. If I hunted, this would be pretty sweet. But I just power flop posted. And it's good for that too. But I don't know what specs. 1095 Micarta scales. The sheath. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like I like the old school look and feel of the sheath. And I haven't had any problems with with knife deployment or anything. Or it's easy to do one-handed. It's easy to do when maybe you've had a few.
I'm never in a furry.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the reason that you become a knife blogger for a living is not for the money or the women. It's because you're never in a hurry to do anything. You can just kind of chill. But
the name of this pop.
Right.
Never in a hurry.
For the two people that are alive and watching.
Yeah. Like pretty saying.
Is that the last night?
No, I mean we can talk about this.
Here's what we're working on. This will come out. Actually, by the time this comes out, we'll have that live. So go ahead. Yeah, the Maxsa Blade. There you go.
So this isn't like a knife nerd's knife, really. I know most people have heard about it because the company just started this year or last year, I think. This is their opening with flagship knife, just called.
I think they did crowdfunding for it. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure they did crowdfunding.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. And it's kind of a story we hear a lot these days. Like a couple of dudes in America come up with a knife design who they partner with probably a Chinese manufacturer to get it out there. Really good at marketing. They get it in the hands. Like ours, I don't see the steel. They're using AUS 10 steel. which could have been, you know, I don't know. If I messed it up, it would have been really bad. But this feels actually pretty solid.
They did a great job.
I parted with it, I petaned with it, I cooked food with it. Then at the end of all
Shots.
yeah, I
Multiple times because we lost the footage the first time. So we chopped a lot with this thing.
Yeah, you might not see.
And we threw spark. And I mean, by the time we were done with it, the blade was munged up to hell. And I was like, we are never cleaning that puppy up. And it cleaned up. It cleaned up really nice. We abused the hell out of this thing.
Kind of see some light on there still.
The only thing, Maxsa, I wish they had done is the sheath is great. I just wish it had a belt loop, like a clip loop to put on.
Any kind of clip, yeah.
Even if you're only using it for camp cooking, which was the main thing this thing was designed for, you're just going around the campfire, you're doing things. It's nice to be able to drop it back in the sheath, pull it out. One of us does a lot of camp cooking. I do not. But it's nice to have a sheath when you're cooking. And I mostly make drinks while we're camping. And even I like to have a knife and a sheath that you got to cut stuff and stir stuff and so I like having it on. I like the option to put it on my belt. So I'm hoping that they add a loop. They priced it well. They used the steel that I would have used if I was going to make a camping chef knife. That, what is it? It's a good camping chef knife that does other things good too.
Yeah, I think they
might even have called it a bushcraft chef knife.
I think they did as like a one knife does all type of thing, which, fine. But I'm just, now that I've done the review, I'm only able to use it for cooking.
But it was not great for feather sticking. But
no,
it handled most other bushcraft tasks pretty well, but the thing about feather sticking is you want a chef knife to have a bite to it, and you don't necessarily want that for feather sticking. So I don't think you can. If you're trying to come up with a knife that does multiple things, well, there's going to be a compromise, and they straddled that compromise about as well as you can. I just would love to see a belt loop on that.
But it's fine. It's worth a shot for like $120.
For the money, it's nice. Yeah, some other companies out there whose names I won't mention that are selling knives for 2 or 3 times the amount that are supposed to be the same. James Brand, yeah, just get this.
I think that's the end of the reviews. So actually, it's sort of appropriate we're ending on that one because our next video, if you stay tuned, will be pretty much entirely about camp cooking. Now we'll talk about the Maxsa Blade. We'll talk about the Condor Bush Slicer, and the Off Grippers. They some of our favorite,
and Off-Grid Sierra,
and the Sierra, which is one of our, I'll say favorite.
Off-Grid does camp cooking knives really well.
Yeah, we'll get into it then, but the Grizzly was sort of our first cooking knife that got us kind of obsessed with the topic.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time. We have cooked in so many different places with the Grizzly. We were going through the footage just getting ready for that video, and I was like, oh man, we may have spent as much time with that knife as any, because we don't spend. We do a review, we spend a few weeks doing a review, and then we're on to the next one. Everyone talks about their EDC that they carry all the time, and we don't have that luxury. We're always testing something new.
We're always out in the woods.
But that Grizzly, we revisit on a regular basis. We do a lot of camp cooking, and that thing just, and he's on the second iteration right now.
And yeah, it's the V2. Another cool thing about the next episode is going to have a lot of footage of nature that is all burned up.
Oh, yeah.
Like a time capsule.
We did a bunch of shoots for that video, camp cooking video, and then it all burned down afterwards. So, yeah. We're looking for new shoot locations.
Yeah, fun time machine back.
There's not much left of the Sierra Nevadas.
That's why we're inside now, is all the forest burned out.
Well, and it's smoky as hell.
And it's
smoky as hell outdoors.
And the forest is continuing to burn.
Yeah, good times. Move to California, people. It's great.
The air is fantastic. Anyway, we gotta figure out a way to end this episode. I should.
Your beer is over.
Yeah, beer's over, so the episode is over. Tune in next time.
If you stayed this long, props to you, man. Thanks. We'll be back.
See ya.
Yeehaw.